This is the minor basilica of St. Lawrence in Panisperna in Rome, and this is the actual place where the martyrdom of St. Lawrence took place. Lawrence is a name which has variations from Laurent to Lorenzo, depending on which language, and he was a deacon in the early church, and he was burned to death. Actually, he was roasted to death. During the persecution of the early Christians in the third century, St. Lawrence Lawrence that time was entrusted as a deacon with the administration of the church affairs, especially church wealth. And there is a famous narration of one of his acts before he was burned to death, that when he was approached by the prefect of Rome that time, and he was asked to give in the riches or the wealth of the church to hand in, he said to be given 3 days. And after 3 days, he presented himself, and he came along with the poor people, the lame, the cripples, and he told the prefect of Rome, "Behold, this is the wealth of the church." And this angered the prefect of Rome, who commanded that he be burned immediately. So St. Lawrence was grilled alive, and actually here we see beneath this church, there is the furnace where he was grilled. And it is said that when he was being burnt, he said, "Turn me over, I'm done on this side." So he was still jovial, and he approached his death with serenity, and he becomes a model for those who can stand with the poor in the church and to fight for the rights of the oppressed, which was associated with the poor Clare sisters who are staying here, and they were distributing this bread and ham to the poor people, especially on the feast of St. Lawrence, that is August 10th. So after his death, Lawrence was taken and buried in the present-day minor basilica of St. Lawrence outside the wall, which we shall be visiting and making pilgrimage to one of these days. Within this church also we find the remains of Saints Crispin and Crispinian, who are brothers, and they are Christian martyrs who were beheaded during the reign of Diocletian, and they are venerated as the patron saints of cobblers, tanners, and leather workers. Saint Bridget of Sweden also was buried here, and she was associated with the poor Clares who are staying here, and she used to beg for alms for the poor who were within Rome that time, and later her remains were transferred to Sweden. As we continue with our pilgrimage this Lenten season, let us continue to pray for one another. Let us learn from the lives and the acts of the early Christian martyrs and saints, and may their lives be a model for us to live our Christian calling in the world today. Let us pray for one another.